Hello, it's Riikka Kovasin here, and today I have a card video for you. This is a little bit different than usual, because normally I edit the video quite a lot, and in this video I sped things up, but I'm showing you how I make the composition. And also, the elements I'm making the composition differ a little bit. Let me explain you, because I have this little drawer where I put elements that are kind of leftovers from projects, or then I get with ATC swaps or just random little nicks and knacks. And well, the little drawer is kind of overflowing because I end up tossing things there but not using as much as I should. So the idea behind these 3 cards is to use those elements. I'm first building the background for each card. They have different textures using different embossing folders, but the process is the same, and then the elements coming on top differ from card to card because I'm just using what I have. As you could see, the background is kind of really easily done, so it's just embossed black cardstock. I'm adding some kind of weathered copper tones on top of that, and then adding a metallic layer on top and brushing some of that away so it's just weathered metal looking. I then trim the piece to fit inside A6 style card, mounted it on top of another sheet of black cardstock to make a kind of a frame, and then start searching for elements that I'm going to layer on top. I'm showing just a couple of here, and then you have a next shot is with everything I found. I'm kind of going for the color and kind of the feel that would go. So for example, you can see any pink flowers because I think these copper tones went more nicely with greens or even oranges. And I followed that color scheme when I'm picking the elements. The next part I sped quite drastically because I wanted to show you the process, but not that it would last for minutes and minutes. So when I originally went through the drawer, I chose elements that spoke to me and went with the color scheme, and now I'm then kind of auditioning, it's a Seth Apter term, which elements I'm going to use for which card. I started with kind of the bigger elements that would make the focal point. You can then see further along that I changed my mind a little bit, but that was the first thing. Then I'm picking elements to back that up. So there's the bigger tags or bigger leaves that make the composition a bit fuller, and then I start adding those little details. What you can see most drastically in the card on the right is that I'm not afraid to cover the previous layers. So I first chose this kind of vintage photo as my focal point, but then I decided I'm going to use the flowers instead. So I'm just placing them on top of each other and thus making a little frame out of the vintage photo. I thought that worked nicely. So if you have such an element, and especially in this case, because the little box is for overflowing, I don't have to use every single little bit that it shows like completely. It can be an element that supports the composition. When I then have the compositions done for each card, I actually took a photo with my cell phone to kind of a visual little note where the elements are then situated, and I inked around the edges of each element using a brown ink, and then added them on top of each other using just craft glue and double-sided tape and foam tape as my adhesive. Here are the cards now adhered to their bases, or the elements adhered to their bases. I'm then adding a couple of touches to tie everything together. These are these kind of fun ring stickers, and then to highlight the metallic feel of the background, I'm adding little metal embellishments as the last detail. After filming, I then mounted each card to a craft colored card base, thus making the set complete. I hope you liked the video. It's a little bit different, like I said, because of the long composition phase, but hopefully that gives you ideas or lets you see how I make the compositions. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing and hit that bell sign to be notified when a new video comes live. Next week is actually midsummer here in Finland, which is a big thing, so there's not going to be a process video on that Friday. But after that, we continue with the videos. Again, thank you so much for watching. Wishing you a fine summer. Bye!